at one of the great venues in the country, Conseco Fieldhouse. Rochester has the basketball to start second quarter action. Off the design to the right elbow. Grimm Jr. buries it for point number 8.
Every time Grimm Jr. shoots the basketball, you expect it to go in. He has a classic stroke.
Chavis going to dial up a 3 one more time. This one a little short. Rebound tapped out long, controlled by Rochester. Across the timeline, Meadows runs it ahead to Bruce Grimm Jr. They come baseline. The skip of the corner to Evan Hoff. Well, he's human. He missed a 3. Rebound comes down to Bowers. He gets it blocked.
They may not be able to maintain that pace, but they're going to have to do a better job of guarding the dribble to not allow these wide open threes that we saw in the first half.
Chavis kick of the corner to Simmons. Flip it out to Trevor George. Trevor wants to drive. Brings it toward the right baseline. Now comes to Dontre Chavis. He goes to the left elbow. Traveled. Got away with it. Trevor George from 15. Rolls around, no. Rebound tapped out on the floor.
Himself did not look very confident at all. Now he looks confident here.
Trevor George in a strong move and a finish.
Yeah, you get a little less confident in your own stroke. Almost hard to shoot when no one's guarding you.
Under 7 to play in the half. Bruce Grimm Jr. drives, throws it up off the glass, rolls around, no. Rebound controlled by Trevor George. George in transition. Princeton trying to run a little bit. Simmons wants the baseline, or check that, Packer wanted the base. His first, team's fourth. Packer, deep lob. Dontre Chavis to Trevor George. Patient offensive set here with 6.5 to play in the half. 27-20. Rochester leading unbeaten Princeton. Dontre Chavis thought about it from 15. We'll go to Trevor George instead, and he gets his pocket picked.
There's just no room in there. Princeton keeps trying to go in there. There's no room.
Bruce Grimm Jr. quickly across the timeline. The kick of the corner.
A little fast. This is a big possession, I think, right here for Princeton. Princeton needs to get itself calmed down, get a good shot, and feel confident knocking it in here.
Princeton 6 turnovers. Rochester with 4. Princeton with the basketball. They trail it by 7, 27-20. Simmons starts to the baseline, gets shut off, pulls up from 6 and drained it.
Simmons, a talented basketball player, the 6'1" junior guard. You know, they went to set a double screen, Mark, and there was no one there to screen. Everybody was under the basket.
Tough shot. Colt Meadows finds Austin Lowe. They go baseline. 3-pointer. No. Rebound. Chased down by Austin Lowe. Lowe goes back. Brant George will replace him. Rochester. The lob into Shane. Draws the triple. Inbounds to Grimm Jr. Lowe gets it in. Grimm Jr. 3. No. Held the pose and it didn't fall. Brant George in transition. Got in a little too deep and turned it over. Rochester back the other way. They don't have the numbers and wisely backs it out. Now Grimm Jr. to the right elbow. No good. Rebound controlled by Austin Lowe. They'll kick it around to Grimm Jr. Bowers.
No room.
You think Rob Malco preached much about transition defense this week?
I talked to him before the game. He said 3 guys back and go to the basket.
Shot put up short. Rebound fought for, controlled by Dontre Chavis. He comes in transition through a double team. Bounce pass, baseline right. They'll dribble it around to George. George will fight through a double team. He can't get it to fall, but Chavis is there to finish it. Double-digit score for Dontre.
Yeah, that was the first time that they were able to get past. George got past his defender for Rochester. It opened up the backboard for Chavis. That's huge in this game.
4.5 to play. 3-pointer back the other way. They rattle it home. Shane with 6 now. 30-24, 6-point lead for Rochester.
Again, just beating a man off the dribble, kicking it, and Shane standing there wide open.
Dontre Chavis wanted it on the right box that time. They didn't go that way. Jalen Packer has it now.
Come on, D. Come on, D. Come on, D.
Now Brant George. Now Jordan Simmons. Simmons from the left elbow. That is a brick. Rebound comes down to Rochester. Quickly up the floor they come. Shane had it down low, and what an accurate throw line. The 3-point play. Austin Lowe hits.
George come out. It's his left knee. No information coming from the Princeton training staff, but he has checked back in the game and is playing. Appears he'll be all right.
Packer with a walk across the timeline for Princeton. They trail it. Under 4 to play in the half. Working the left side, now come free throw line to Chavis. He'll force his way up from 7. Threw it up a little too hard. Rebound tapped down onto the floor. Comes down to Bruce Grimm Jr.
What Chris was talking about with Coach Malco, they took about 3 quick threes. They know they're getting past Princeton's defense. A little patience, they'll get what they want.
Hoff looks for Grimm, cutting back door through too many arms. The pickoff by Princeton. In transition they come. Simmons throws it up off the glass too hard. There with the rebound. Trevor George off the glass and in. 7 for Trevor George.
We talked about it a little earlier. Better sense of urgency on the defensive end there from Princeton. Same with this possession with Packer really hounding Grimm.
Grimm drives, gets it reached tonight so far for the 6'1 senior. Only makes unbeaten Princeton. Bingo. Double digits with 10 for Bruce Grimm Jr.
Now that sense of urgency can go to the offensive end too. A little too much standing around.
Try to lob it through a double team. Rontre Chavis somehow gathers it in, makes a strong enough move to get off the floor and get it up, but misses it, but they force a turnover off the rebound.
That's the kind of play Princeton has to have. That's an effort play, that's an energy play, and now they get to set up their press.
10 for Trevor George. 2:43 to play in the half. 35-29. Rochester with the basketball and the lead.
Soft three-quarter court press, just trying to speed Rochester up a little bit.
Hoff to Grimm Jr. Almost stole it away. He'll drive. Little fade away from 6. Nothing but net. 12 for Bruce Grimm Jr.
They sped him up, but he still hit the shot.
Simmons across the timeline to Jalen Packer. He crosses over to the right elbow and gets shut off. Now the kick in the corner, right back to him. They'll swing it. Brant George. Corner. Trevor George. Back up top of the circle. The kick in the corner. Nice drive by Brant George. Little floater from 6. No good. Nice rebound by Austin Lowe.
Yeah, that time Lowe really protected the basketball. They lost it on the previous possession. Coach Malco in front of us saying spread. They know getting Princeton spread out, their ball handlers, including Grimm, have been getting past.
Shane with the basketball.
Trying to use a little clock here, Mark.
Minute 40. Shane gets to the free throw line, decides to drive. Rochester lob in to Grimm Jr. Gets bumped, no call. Shane with the basketball out high. 90 seconds left. Bowers to the elbow, brings it back out. Grimm Jr. with it now. You hear Coach Malco directing traffic from just in front of us. Grimm Jr. comes to Bowers, back to Grimm Jr. Approaching the 1 minute mark.
They're content to hang on to it.
Grimm Jr. with a drive. A kick out to Bowers. They go to Shane. Shane back out to Grimm. 1 minute mark. 37-29 and a foul.
Styming Rochester's guards has been the exact opposite.
Keenan Johnson picked up the personal, by the way. Under a minute to play now. 15 foul. Shane with the basketball. Out of Bowers. And again, we're going to take all kinds of time here. Trevor George close enough to get the count on. Bowers picks up the dribble. Finally gets rid of it to Shane. Shane in the double team, drives and kicks. Lowe now has it, down to 30 seconds. Baseline, Bowers dribbles it out. Back to Lowe. Not a lot of teams can do this nowadays.
Boy, they are really hounding Grimm, not letting him get the basketball back.
And a foul. Put IHSAAsports.org. Good defense.
Nope, little trap here by Rochester, end of the half.
Jalen Packer looks for some help. Rontre Chavis is the recipient. Uses the shoulder to buy some room and lost the basketball. They'll run it ahead to Shane. He'll launch a 3. No good. Rebound tapped out long, controlled by Princeton, but that is the end of the first half.